Greetings, everybody. Nate Dube here. Thank you for tuning in to the first official Dubious Monks Thought Portal episode. I do apologize to my 7 or so subscribers. Thank you, by the way. And to those of you who are watching, if you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button. I know initially when I released my first video, which was just an introduction to the channel about 2 months ago, I said I would be posting videos weekly. I've been working on some personal projects, some self-care, and going through Jungian analysis and psychotherapy. So I had to get some of those things out of the way before I started making content. And I also spent time thinking about what I'm going to put on this page because I want to put stuff on that is ultimately useful to the people who watch it. I'll be discussing a lot of things, as in the header image, UFOs, the paranormal, the occult, magic, religion, spirituality, and other items that are adjacent to those. Today, I figured I would start with a very interesting topic, something that I've been experimenting with lately, and which I'll provide a few other resources on, and that is using Hypnagogia in sleep paralysis to astral project. Now, there is a lot of evidence with scientific peer-reviewed literature backing up some of the things that I'm going to discuss today. I'm not going to dig deeply into the science. I'm just going to tell you what my experience with these things are and the techniques I use to leverage sleep paralysis and hypnagogia to astral project. If you're interested in the scientific side of this, I would steer you towards Anthony Peake's excellent book, Opening the Doors of Perception. There's also an episode of the Aeon, Byte, Gnostic radio podcast, which he is on, where he digs deeper into his book and the science behind these techniques. So, first things first, what is hypnagogia? Hypnagogia, also known as sleep paralysis, is an altered state of consciousness that occurs when someone has woken up from sleep, but their body is still asleep, essentially paralyzed, and their mind is not completely awake. This is something that's a bit taboo. You back up 20 years ago, people who talked about sleep paralysis or hypnagogia might have been suggested by family and friends that perhaps they were mentally ill. Today, in 2024, in a world that is increasingly becoming an interconnected global village with many people, whether conservatively religious or spiritual but not religious, sleep paralysis and hypnagogia are becoming topics that are being talked about a lot more openly. For many people, sleep paralysis and hypnagogia, again, it's the same thing, so we'll just go with sleep paralysis moving forward, can be a terrifying experience. In addition to the body feeling as if it's paralyzed, while the mind is somewhat awake, many people report the feeling of an entity sitting on their chest. Many conservative Christians and people of Judaic religions who talk about this online tend to refer to it potentially as a form of demonic possession. Having had similar experiences myself, coming from that perspective, I can see how one would think or suggest that. And obviously that is terrifying to think that there might be a spiritual being sitting on your chest, preventing you from being able to awake. Many people who experience sleep paralysis also say that they have hallucinations of people or creatures entering the room, their bedroom, their house, which, if you can't move, it's very scary to think that there's people you don't know just walking into your home. All of this is ultimately hallucinations. Now, the key to overcoming sleep paralysis, and particularly using it for astral projection, is to give in, which is not easy to do. I've had sleep paralysis probably for the last 20 years, give or take. I am an avid lucid dreamer, and sleep paralysis is an excellent way to induce lucid dreams, which is what I primarily started using it for once I was able to get over the fear of that feeling of being incapacitated. When this happens to you, what you want to do, if you want to leverage it for astral projection or lucid dreaming, because for a lot of people who start to use sleep paralysis as a technology for spiritual inquiry and discovery, spiritual spelunking, let's call it, generally speaking, it's going to lead to lucid dreams before it leads to astral projection. When it occurs, you simply just have to let go of fear and let the experience take you. I'm not suggesting this is easy. The first few times I did it, I made it about 3 to 5 minutes and then freaked out and tried as hard as I could to wake up. Sometimes I can shift my body slightly and make noises, and my wife will wake me up because she knows that I'm experiencing sleep paralysis. However, in the past 6 months, 2 times I was able to fully give in to the experience and letting go of fear. And twice I accidentally astral projected. And this is different from lucid dreaming because when sleep paralysis, for me anyway, induces a lucid dream, I tend to be in a completely different place other than my home, in my bedroom where I'm sleeping. The 2 times this happened on accident, what happens for me is I feel as if my body is being dragged either to the end of the bed or to the side of the bed. When this happened twice about 3 months ago, it felt as if I had collapsed onto the floor and then all of a sudden rose to my feet. I then looked down and saw myself sleeping in the bed, and I realized this was an out-of-body experience. So, generally speaking, what I will do if that happens, I will walk out of my bedroom and explore the house. Now, when this happened, quote-unquote, accidentally, I was basically just walking around my house, and it was my house in physical reality as I know it. It felt as if I still had my body, although if I looked down, there was nothing there because it was just pure consciousness. As I have been able to develop this, because of certain experiences that I'm having in my spiritual evolution, I'm now 40 years old, and I was raised as a conservative Christian. I left that religion when I was 27, and I have been an adept spiritual seeker, occultist, and a researcher of Western esotericism, which, considering what sleep paralysis is and the phenomena that it incurs, is a natural interest, I guess you could say. To get back on topic, once I was able to control this, when sleep paralysis occurs, let go of fear, slide out of my body, and astral project, on 2 occasions recently, I walked out of my bedroom and everything was the same. We have a finished basement in our waterfront home, and I went upstairs. However, the 2 times I went upstairs recently, after having gained control over this process, I found myself in these beautiful waterfront homes. One was on the east coast, I believe, facing the Atlantic Ocean, and the other was a giant lake, somewhere that I'm not familiar with. Now, what's interesting about this, and where I think things, really become conducive to deeper considerations about what is going on, in these 2 circumstances, what I experienced was more real than reality. It wasn't like a dream or a lucid dream, which oftentimes has a psychedelic or synthetic feeling to it. This was as if I was actually awake in reality, but it was more real than waking life is. Right now, sitting making this video, when I think of the place that I visited after astral projecting through the use of sleep paralysis, this feels more like an illusion than what occurred at that time. Now, what's very interesting about this is in Anthony Peake's book, Opening the Doors of Perception, he uses peer-reviewed scientific research to support a hypothesis that I myself came up with about a month or 2 ago after this. And the hypothesis for me was that when you astral project through sleep paralysis, and I would assume through older techniques, although I think that using sleep paralysis to astral project is, probably a hack or a very easy way to do that compared to many of the techniques that come from Eastern religions and other spiritual technologies. What essentially is happening is, if your mind is, I guess, tuned to the idea of going to the spirit realm, and you are in a positive state of mind, I came to the conclusion that I think I might have temporarily visited what the Gnostics call the pleroma, or the perfected universe. Traditional Christians would refer to this place as heaven or paradise, and as astounding as that sounds, I myself was, asking myself, does it really make sense? Do I actually believe this? And for anyone who watches other videos on this or who knows me in real life, you know that I'm a deeply spiritual person, and I have experiences and believe certain aspects about reality and other dimensions that might not line up with mainstream science or rigid religions. That being said, the reason that I'm doing this, making this video, and doing this channel is because I want to provide value to people to have experiences that are ultimately positive and will give you some sense of self-mastery over your life and over your mind and soul. So to bring it back, I essentially do believe that sleep paralysis is the easiest way to astral project. And if you focus your mind on touring heaven, for lack of a better term, you can literally walk out of your bedroom with that intent. And for me, walk upstairs. Maybe for you, it's you go out your back door. And I have entered this place that I can only honestly define as paradise. Colors were richer. Scents were more intense. Flowers. The scent of sea spray. The sunshine. It was absolutely incredible how much more real, how much more authentic the experience seemed to be. So what's the point of doing this? I believe that as we move deeper into 2024, as a global village, as the race of human beings continues to traverse these complicated times of political upheaval, of peak capitalism, of the deterioration of the natural world, spiritual experiences like this are only going to become more prominent. And I think it's important that we have tools that will allow us to navigate these experiences and use them to create positive experiences rather than negative. So again, to recap, if you experience sleep paralysis and you're interested in either using that to jump into a lucid dream or astral projection, really all you have to do is let go of fear. And it's not going to be easy. You're going to probably freak out, particularly if you feel like there are people, entities, or animals in the room that shouldn't be there because, well, if random people just showed up in your house, that would be rather frightening, particularly if you are paralyzed. However, just remind yourself that it's an illusion. You are in an altered state of consciousness, and there is no reason to be afraid. Let go of that fear and see where it takes you. If you are able to appropriately let go of the fear, you may or may not have the experience that I do, where I feel like I'm being kind of pulled out of my body and then finding myself standing in the room looking down at myself. Other people who have been leveraging this technology have experiences that are adjacent or similar. What I can say with, I wouldn't say great authority, but I would just say based on my experiences, if you let go of fear and you allow the experience to unfold, you will be taken to another place, whether that is a lucid dream, a beautiful mountainscape, a seaside village, and that is, an experience that's happening in your subconscious or collective unconscious, or it's astral projection. That is ultimately going to be up for you to decide. And it may start with one and move to the other, or vice versa. However, I thought this would be an interesting topic to start with for my first official video because it's relatively easy to do once you conquer fear. So if you're interested in learning more, I would absolutely check out Anthony Peake's book, Opening the Doors of Perception, and check out his appearance on the Aeon Byte Gnostic Radio podcast, which I will put the links for in the description below. The host of Aeon Byte Gnostic Radio, Miguel, he is a modern Gnostic Christian and spiritual spelunker, if you will. Really incredible guy if you're interested in alternative spiritualities and exiting the matrix, so to speak. I think you're really going to enjoy his content. I interviewed him for my 2012 book, Interview with the Magus, which I will also include a link for in the description. I want to thank you in advance for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that subscribe button, like and comment, and share it with friends and family. Until next time, this is Nathan Dube from Dubious Monk's Thought Portal. Have a great day, guys. Peace.